You mentioned the op-ed articles for the Wall Street Journal. I've read these. They're excellent. Can we talk about that a little bit, and particularly this last one? What was the response to that? Why don't you describe a little bit about it first, and then what the response was?
Yeah, the problem that we were having with talking about the gold standard or talking about monetary policy in general, especially with legislators, is they felt it was not an area that they had sufficient expertise to weigh in on. And so I think as soon as we started to frame it in economic terms, we started with a problem. And this last article that Jeff and I wrote in the Wall Street Journal was, I think, quite successful in helping to reframe the debate about gold money, the gold standard, as a political issue, not simply one of, monetary policy and what's the right growth rate for, M1, M2, pick your M, or what's the right inflation rate, or which are all issues that legislators are just going to be almost instinctively unwilling to weigh in on, because in their careers, none of them will have had any direct contact or any policy experience with monetary policy. I think, maybe very, very few exceptions, and so they're naturally uncomfortable. But once you frame it as an issue of an unaccountable government bureaucracy making decisions absent any oversight, in fact, in a way that really prohibits any congressional oversight, I think then that starts to make more political sense or intuitive sense to them, and that becomes an issue that they can weigh in on.
What was the response to the article? Was it, did you get a good response, and was it what you were expecting?
Yeah, it was very positive, much more positive than the response that we'd gotten to the previous two articles we'd written in both the Journal and then the article we'd written about Tom Hoening in the Weekly Standard. And I think that had to do with it being explicitly directed at politics and not monetary policy. I don't know if Ben Bernanke read the article, but I presume he wouldn't have been particularly pleased with it. But it's not. There's no aspect, despite the the challenge implicit in the article. There's not really any scope to refute the facts. I mean, the conclusions follow very, very readily from the facts that everybody knows.
Did you see anything in the media where the Fed tried to apologize or make excuses for previous actions, which based on the facts that you identified in that article?
No, I think the
basically they ignored it.
Yeah, I think were I a PR advisor to them, I would have advised them to do the same thing. I think they risked making a larger issue out of it to the extent they tried to challenge it. And I'm trying to imagine on what grounds they would have challenged it. Would they have argued that
taken out of context?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's fair. It's not, it's not out of context. I mean, when you go out of your way in congressional testimony to explain an action by defending that action as something that you would again defend on your deathbed, as Bernanke did with respect to the Lehman bailout. I mean, it's not an accidental. It's not a flippant comment. I think it's something that is very central to what he believes was the proper role of the Federal Reserve. So I don't, in no way do we suggest that these either Ben Bernanke or the other actors in the bailouts are doing this out of ill will. We're just simply pointing out the political reality of the actions that they've taken, and that were they to have overstepped what they defined as their legal authority and bailed out Lehman, who would have enforced that obscure statute that they had violated? It's immediately obvious that no one would have, and on what political grounds would have somebody done it? And I think that creates a problem, and perhaps has opened a few eyes to the reality of the structure, the political structure we live in with respect to monetary policy. Mm-hmm.
For the benefit of the viewers who are watching this video, are those articles available on your website?
Yes, they are.
And so how can they,
So if you go to www.americanprinciplesproject.org,
okay, and just look up the Wall Street Journal and the Weekly Standard articles.
I think it'll be under the, no, I haven't actually done this, but I know they're there. If you look up, we have our website grouped into issues, and if you were to go into the issues, you can scroll back.
Monetary issues, you'll find it.
You'll find it there.